finally, you guys, after months and months of me waiting around, looking for something to film and really put my hands into, I beat the writer's block and I was able to come up with at least something. This script took so long to... Actually, any script. It takes so long for it to go like onto paper and to flesh it out into an actual story, which this one isn't necessarily a story with like an act structure. It doesn't really resolve at the end. It doesn't... I recognize that it doesn't have a strong story in that respect, but it does in the fact that I was able to put something on the screen. Not only that, but what I tried less to do was to complete a narrative and instead write something. That way I can go out and produce an emotion or try to evoke an emotion to the viewer, to the audience, and without having to fulfill a narrative. And as a writer, that's scary because you want to have all your like ducks in a row before you go to filming, so that way you know exactly what the outcome is going to be and exactly what you need to do in the filmmaking process of it. So without that, it's a kind of like jumping out of an airplane with no parachute. But I was looking at this documentary, brilliant documentary by this guy named Cameron Bale, or Barrel, I forgot what his name is, but he has a Vimeo series called the Director Series, and he goes and really analyzes and writes deep video essays and written essays about his favorite directors, and he was doing one on Terrence Malick. And if you know anything about Terrence Malick movies, The Thin Red Line, The New World, Days of Heaven, he doesn't have a narrative structure. He's more known for having these really rich, ethereal images on screen, and he's really known for having his actors do whatever they wish when it comes to the actual acting process. He's known for being a meticulous filmmaker in the visual regard, but not necessarily in the written sense. I wouldn't say he's a bad storyteller. He's a great storyteller, but he uses actors and scenery and just a little bit of story to get him there, and he can pull it off majestically. So I thought I'd try to foray into that area of filmmaking, less script heavy, less story heavy, and like in this sort of scene, the hypnotic session, I had a few things written down, but like I tell my actors every time, you don't necessarily have to go verbatim on the script and what the script says. So that whole line where he says the thing about the Mayan tea, we're all having a good laugh about that because that ends nowhere in the script, and it's brilliant, but I've never even wrote that, and the actor had this brilliant piece of improv that he decided to throw in there, and in my opinion, it works. So, and again, these are all I guess series of images, I would say, inspired by Terrence Malick himself. And if you watch any of Terrence Malick movies, the last one I've seen is with Christian Bale, Knight of Cups. And it's frustrating to see because I'm a big fan of story. And I love seeing it from the page onto the screen, especially if I've read the screenplay before, if I know it has a strong writer behind it. I love seeing all that stuff. So Knight of Cups kind of annoyed me because there really was no structure. There was no Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. But you can't help but admire how much beauty is in those movies. So this movie is a big exercise in me trying to create a better atmosphere for my actors. And again, this wouldn't have been possible without the great camera work. I'm talking top-notch camera work of the director in this movie, Joey Katchis. having someone else in charge of the visual really helped me to speak to the actors and tell them exactly what I wanted out of each and every scene. And I believe that helped tremendously. Again, I wanted to show the separation between two people sharing a dinner scene. I mean, I've had it plenty of times in my life where I'm eating with someone, or I'm in a forced conversation with someone, let's say, and you can tell there's some psychological blockage between you two. You can't really get through the other person, and it happens in everyday life. Like if someone's mad at you, that's hence the name of the movie, The Silent Treatment. It happens if you've ever been caught in one of those, and I've been caught in plenty of those in my life. So I decided to make even when I see them, even when I recognize those moments in real life where there's just a psychological block between you and another person, they're just so cinematic to me. It's just like I can't help thinking about a movie whenever they happen or occur to me. Again, the process to make this film was so long, and it came after a gigantic writer's block for me, about like 4 or 5 months. And not to say I didn't write anything. I would sit down every day and try to write as best as I could, or try to write something, and I literally couldn't. And there was just something literally in the way. And so this script came after some time of me just saying, let me put emotions onto the page instead of just thoughts and words and a screenplay. And so again, if you're confused by the plot or you have any questions about it, feel free to message me or anything. Feel free to talk to me about it the next time you see me. Or I don't know how much I could tell you though, because there were some scenes I decided to cut from this movie just because I filmed them myself and they didn't turn out nearly as well. So I wanted to keep the continuity and visuals. But also, back to the point of, if you have any questions about this movie, again, just keep in mind that the narrative wasn't the main focus in this project. It's one of my favorite shots in the whole entire movie. That blue and the orange. Brilliantly captured by Joey Catches. Anyway, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time.